Hare Krishna. We continue reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is. Chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, text 34. Tatvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshiyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. The path of spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. The Lord, therefore, advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession from the Lord himself. So it's very difficult for us to get a spiritual realization, to understand ourself. When I say self, it doesn't mean understand our body and our person. I mean, anything related to the body. When we say the self, means who we truly are, us, who we truly are, our identity as souls, our identity as souls, and our eternal position. So it's difficult for us to understand that without knowing about it, without having proper guidance. It's same like if we want to have, as we say, if we want to become lawyers, we want to get a perfect knowledge in the law, then we have to go to a law school, learn from the teachers. The law school should be authorized by the law board, from the law authority. And then after sufficient training, after sufficient learning, then the student can graduate from that school, and then he becomes a lawyer and he can practice. Similarly, the spiritual knowledge also we can get is from the authorized spiritual teachers, the bona fide spiritual master who is coming in the line of disciplic succession. And this line of disciplic succession starts from Krishna himself. It has to start from Krishna, because he's the original speaker of the Vedas. He's the original speaker of the Vedic knowledge. No one can be a bona fide spiritual master without following this principle of disciplic succession. So if one is not coming in a line of disciplic succession, then he cannot be a bona fide spiritual master. The Lord is the original spiritual master, and a person in the disciplic succession can convey the message of the Lord as it is to his disciple. So the system is like that. For example, if you see, how the mangoes are plucked, the one man climbs up the tree. So he climbs up the tree and he's going to pluck the mango, but he won't just throw it down to the ground, because if he throws to the ground, the mango will be ruined. So what happens is the mango is passed. It's passed. There are various men at various points, and it is carefully passed from one to another, so the mango is intact. Similarly, the knowledge, the Vedic knowledge, the spiritual knowledge, it's coming from the Supreme Lord. He's the original speaker of spiritual knowledge. That's why he's called the original spiritual master. He's the original speaker of spiritual knowledge. And then how does this knowledge come to us? Through the disciplic succession. Through the disciplic succession. It's passed from one person to another. One person to another. As Krishna says in that evam parampara praptam imam rajarasyo viduhu. Now over the ages, he spoke this knowledge to sun god gave it to his son Manu gave it to his son Ikshvaku, then it came into the human society, like that. So the Lord is the original spiritual master, and the person in the disciplic succession can convey the message of the Lord. So what is the spiritual message? is the message of the Lord. And it has to be conveyed as it is. If it is mixed up, then the original message is lost. Then it's not the Lord's message. So no one can be spiritually realized by manufacturing his own process, as is the fashion of the foolish pretenders. So if I say, okay, I'm not going to follow the system that the Lord has made, but I will create my own process. Why not? There are many ways to get spiritual realization. So I will manufacture my own process. But the result is that I will not get the spiritual knowledge. I will not get realized knowledge. There's a difference between realized knowledge and just knowledge as for the sake of knowing things. So what we want to get is realize the knowledge that we are hearing. And to get the realization of the knowledge, we have to hear it from the bona fide spiritual master. Because that is the point. Once we realize, oh, I'm not the body, I'm the soul, oh, I'm a part and parcel of Krishna, then that's achieving perfection, to realize the knowledge. So the Bhagavatam says 6.3.19, Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. The path of religion is directly enunciated by the Lord. The Lord is the one who's the original speaker of the knowledge. He's the one who is, and what is religion? It is the laws of God. So the path of religion is directly enunciated by the Lord. He's the one who shows us dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. Bhagavatam says that. Therefore, mental speculation or dry arguments cannot help lead one to the right path. Nor by independent study of books of knowledge can one progress in spiritual life. So the only way that I can realize this spiritual knowledge is if I hear it from a bona fide spiritual master who's coming in the disciplic succession, which is started by the Lord himself. If I say, no, I'm going to resort to my own mental, to my own mind to try to understand, or I'm going to argue, just argue for the sake of it. It's not, or if I'm going to get the books, yes, I'm going to get the books and I'm going to try to read them by myself without having the association of the spiritual master, without hearing from the spiritual master in the disciplic succession, I will not be able to realize this knowledge. Although the knowledge is there in front of me, I will not be able to realize it. Although I may be able to speak about it, I may be able to, know that this is what it is, but I won't be able to realize it. So one has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. So because the spiritual master, in the bona fide spiritual master, he's liberated. He's on the liberated platform. He's on the transcendental platform. And so that's the reason he should be accepted in full surrender. And one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. So serve. Then satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. So what happens when the spiritual master, who is self-realized, when he sees that, oh, this disciple of mine, he's very sincere. He does not have that false ego. He is trying to serve me, trying to please me to the best of his ability. Why? Because he really wants to understand this knowledge. Then, when the spiritual master is pleased, he gives this realization to the disciple. Inquiries and submission constitute the proper combination for spiritual understanding. So the disciple approaches the bona fide liberated spiritual master with humility, with submission, and with a humble spirit, he puts forward inquiries. But inquiry which is relating to the spiritual knowledge, relating to the inquiry of the self. Unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. So unless there is submission and service, so this is the secret, there needs to be submission and service. Then the spiritual master can help us realize the knowledge. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master. And when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. This is it. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado, yasya prasadat na gati kutopi. In the Guru Vashtakam, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the prayer which is sung every morning for Mangal Aarti, that by pleasing the spiritual master, one pleases Krishna. And by displeasing the spiritual master, one cannot get Krishna. The Krishna is displeased. So here is the secret, that how can we realize this knowledge? That we need to approach a bona fide spiritual master and serve him with a genuine humility. And then when, here it's written here, the genuine desire of the disciple, when the spiritual master sees that, and because the spiritual master is capable, he's already liberated, he's on that platform, and the disciple is also genuine, and he's also capable to receive the knowledge, then the spiritual master blesses him with this genuine spiritual understanding. So in this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. Not only should one hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must also get a clear understanding from him in submission and service and inquiries. So then what is the thing? That we should approach the spiritual master submissively, put sincere inquiries, and try to understand what he's saying. Clarify the doubts, get a clear understanding. Clarify the doubts from him in submission, service, and inquiries. So the service attitude is needed also. A bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind toward the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries become perfect. So this is the way to approach a bona fide spiritual master and receive the spiritual understanding from him. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll stop here for today. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Shilpa Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hare Krishna.